Hey everybody, welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. Hope everybody had a great trading day. It is Monday, October the 30th, 2017. We are rounding home, if you will, on October. We had some big earnings news today. We also had some fundamental news that moved the markets kind of outside of the markets a little bit. And so there was panic, blood in the streets. We dropped a few points. It's one of those things like the market crash has been canceled due to lack of interest. But anyway, we're going to do what we do every day on the DMC. And what we try to do is look at the same futures markets every day. And we don't erase our lines unless we erase them in these videos. And the reason for that is because we want you to get used to how does a position evolve? How does a position change over time? And when you start to understand how positions change over time, it makes you a better trader. So let's go ahead and dive into it. First one is the ES. Now, one of the things about this daily market commentary on my Twitter feed, and if my Twitter feed is just my name, Chuck_Fulkerson, so you can find me on Twitter pretty easily. But on my Twitter feed, I like to put updates throughout the day. So the first one is this ES. So this ES trade, this is a purple. So if it's a purple lines, that means it's a small time frame entry. And we had found that entry off this little blip here, and we got a pretty nice little move away as price touched the area, got a little move away, came back into it again, price shot up out of that level. That was a nice little 5 or 6 point move for someone to pick up, and then we had tweeted out that the ES was moving slowly out of the level, and we were managing our stops very tightly. So, this one at the very least, you should have gotten out at a break even, probably even a small profit for a couple of points. Obviously, this is no longer going to be valid. We've got to remove our small time frame identification area, and we've got to look and see what's our next level that gives us any interest and any excitement. Well, I still have this level down here that it's a dashed line, so it's more of a confirmation style of an entry. As far as other levels, there's a couple other levels out there that do have an interest, but I'm not super ready for them quite yet. I mean, they're all on the smaller time frame. So if I dive into here on the smaller time period, you might be willing to use this area in here. None of these really excite me. There's really nothing in here that, what's the phrase, tickles my fancy. There's nothing down here that I enjoy, that I'm jumping up and down about. This area down in here, you might get something. I'm going to leave it be. I'm going to stick to what we have. What I'm not doing is looking at selling opportunities. There's nothing in there that I'm selling at the moment. So let's go to the NQ, which is our Nasdaq market. Now, the Nasdaq did not have as big of a retracement today as the S&P did. Matter of fact, the Nasdaq is holding up pretty strong relative to the S&P. Did not come down to our small time frame opportunity, and so there's really nothing for me to look at on it. Crude oil. So crude oil, we have clearly rallied pretty far away from any of our other prior areas. We talked about how 55, there's that, kind of that psychological level there at 55, where it's been peaking. I'm still not ready to short it at 55, only because I don't have any high probability entry points in there. There's nothing that really strikes me as a high probability entry. This is definitely a pretty strong resistance point. My next resistance above that doesn't come into play until up here. So I'm going to leave crude oil be for a bit. Now, gold, this was our big winner for the day. We had the level identified in gold on Friday. Price came back into the level and gave us a pretty good entry. And we have been rallying up ever since. You definitely should have taken some off the table at this opposing area right there. If not, maybe now's a good time to look about managing your position. But gold is still running nicely as we've got that pretty good move in gold. So I'm going to leave this level on, although going forward, this level becomes useless to me. I'm going to leave it on just so we can maintain and track our trade. I think you can get to 1285 as a potential target. I think 1290 is really pushing it, but I think it could make it there. Let's go take a look at our 10-year Treasury note. Now, this one was a loser. Yep, that was a loss. Price came up, stopped me out for a small loss just above in here. That was a losing position. You know, I was a little cautious of it simply because we had spent a lot of time in there, and I really like these areas where we had that that old area that was kind of supporting the market. You know, and now we broke out above this range. Still, this is my best level, way up here. But I'm gonna leave this. So I'm gonna remove these lines. Those ones. That's a losing position, but I'm okay with it. I will tell you. I'm maybe looking at a long breakout opportunity at the moment. So possible long breakout, but we'll hold off on it. The Aussie. So the Aussie dollar today, we had talked about this being a confirmation entry. This was another one that we had tweeted out about managing the stop to break even. So we should be out of this trade now. Taking target 1. You can see that little circle there. That was target 1. So price came down and hit target 1. And so you should take some off the table, move the rest to break even. So, you know, all in all, the ES trade should have been profitable. The Aussie trade should have been profitable. The gold trade profitable. Losing money in the bond trade. And that's, you know, I'll take those numbers anytime I can get them. So I'm going to remove all my lines here because those are no longer valid positions. I am still going to keep this area right here. And the reason I'm going to keep this area right in here, and I'm going to put this as a solid blue line, which is a breakout trade. If we break out, actually, I'd put it here. There we go. If we get above that area, to me, that's a buy. If we can break above that 77.91 range, we're actually putting in a pretty good breakout pattern now, especially if we pull back just a hair again. That would be a good breakout pattern. So I'm going to keep the Aussie on my radar. The euro, our level still up here, haven't gotten back to that level yet in the euro. And then the Canadian dollar, if I look at the Canadian dollar, we can see this is kind of where we had targeted that the Canadian would start to find a little bit of support. And indeed, it has a little bit. Friday was a little bit of a reversal candlestick. We need a higher high on a daily chart to truly create a reversal hammer candlestick pattern. The idea on these reversal candle hammer, reversal, well, you know what I mean. These reversal patterns is to go long when it gets above the prior day's high as kind of a breakout opportunity off of a high probability area. And I think that you've really got to move up to, you know, maybe even 0.8 again in the Canadian. Now, moving to our nat gas futures markets. So obviously we had our contract rollover right here, which caused that move up. Right, that move up was caused by the change in the contract on the different numbers. We don't have an unadjusted contract with this particular broker. We don't have the unadjusted contract. So the adjusted contract for the rollover. But I would look at this area way up here as a potential small time frame. That's not even a small time frame. It's an hourly chart as a potential entry. You know, that would kind of fill the gap, and then it'd be a good reversal opportunity off of that. Great British Pound, still in between our levels in the Great British Pound. Move this out to the daily. Oops, not the monthly, the daily. Move that out to the daily, and you can see that we've been chopping along between these two daily areas. If I take that to the 4-hour, our Goliath chart, if you will, a little bit of basing here before that move down. That level is still valid. We do have this area right in here, but that in my mind is just a retest of all this noise over here to the left. So I'm not going to, don't force it, right? Don't force it. There's no reason to, if the shot's not there, don't take the shot. That's something I should have learned in basketball years ago, but I wasn't very good at it. You know, maybe if you go to the small time frame levels, you've got an entry somewhere down in here, but I'm just going to leave this be and not force it. And certainly last but not least on our list is the Japanese yen. I've got to stave this set up so that it remains on my charts. And in the yen, we had identified this as a potential short breakout. When I move this back to the hourly chart, on the hourly time period, still nothing in here that once again tickles the proverbial fancy, although I do like this little area right in here from today. So I'm going to go to a 15-minute. when I go to the 15-minute, I see an area that does give me a little tickle in the fancy. Make that purple. That's because we went all the way to the small time frame to find it. Okay, so that range will be the range that we use as our potential long in Japanese yen, if indeed price does come back down into that little bitty level. And it's a very small level when you really look at it on an hourly chart. Very small, but could give you a pretty good entry out of this zone. So that's what we have for today. I know I went a bit early today, but I've got a couple things I got to take care of in the day, so I thought I would wrap this up even before the market closes. You know, a lot of news is driving the markets down a little bit today. Towards the very end of the day, we're getting, I think, a little bit of a rally here at the end of the day. Yeah, at the end of the day, we're getting a bit of a rally here. We've got 14 minutes left before the market closes. Be great in my mind to see a little rollover and drop down. You know, not because I want the market to fall apart, but because I want to be able to get long again with good entries. And I can't get long with good entries unless we get a deep pullback. So, and not even a deep pullback. Just give me a pullback. Just give me anything. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you all soon. Do me a favor. Make sure that you share this page with others. You give me a like. You give me a comment. You give me a retweet. You give me a whatever in the world they are now. So thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great day, and stay safe out there. See you soon.